So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have a former Ateneo Blue Eagle point guard, and he's also a current point guard of the Phoenix Super LPG and the PBA. So, now welcome here to the DVD show, Tyler Tio. Thank you for joining me here on the podcast.
What's up? Thanks for having me. Great to be here and can't wait to start, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you coming over. But yeah, to start things off, like we're recording this before the Commissioner's Cup's beginning, like 2 weeks before the opening. So how's life been like for you on and off the court as you're preparing for the next conference?
Uh, well, life's been pretty much just focused on basketball because we have practices every day. We've been
Mhm.
practicing every day since I want to say 3 or 4 weeks. We've been practicing every day, so uh, pretty pretty excited for the Commissioner's Cup. Our import has also joined us in our practices, and I'm excited to see what he can do because I mean, very skilled, 6'10" guy, high IQ. So we'll see.
Who's your import for the Commissioner's Cup?
Caleb Wesson.
Oh,
He
okay,
played
I've never
at
heard of him.
He played at Ohio State, NCAA Div 1, and
Hmm.
I'm not sure where he went after that, but yeah, he's good. He's good. I'm
Oh,
impressed.
okay, okay. Yeah, at least you guys are gelling, starting to gel, and you're gonna get your groove like when the
Hmm.
conference starts in 2 weeks. You hopefully get to
Hopefully,
find the
hopefully.
chemistry, yeah,
Yeah, I
chemistry with
mean,
him.
obviously we lost Matt, so it's gonna be a new look, and we'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. You mentioned losing Matthew Wright for since he already announced that he will play with the Kyoto team in the B League.
Hmm.
And yeah, there were already some whispers of him leaving, but then he was professional about it and he just played out his contract for Phoenix. So were you guys already starting to adjust during that period? Like, did he give you ahead of time to adjust, or are you just starting now?
Uh, well, sorry, Thunder. Well,
Okay,
like
go
you
ahead.
said, he was very professional, so he was pretty much at every practice, and he was still in tune with what the team wanted to accomplish. So I mean, we weren't really prepared for life without him yet when he was still with us
Mm-hmm.
because I mean we wanted to win as many games as we could for the All Filipino Cup. So we just started preparing without him during the off season, and I mean it's new. I mean we have a new system in place, and I'm excited to see what will look like.
Yeah, but they're having Matt. Like I watch the Phoenix games, and I see that a lot of the plays revolve around him being a shot creator or
Mhm,
being the guy that will receive the ball and create buckets for everyone on the team.
mhm.
So, what are the facets of the game that you really miss him the most?
Definitely his playmaking and his ability to hit tough shots for us, because like you
Mm-hmm.
said, he's someone that we can just give the ball to and he'll get something good out of it every time. It's
Mm-hmm.
either he'll make a tough shot or he'll get two defenders on him and make the right play. So definitely gonna miss his offense, and I mean that's Matthew, right, man? Gilas player. We'll miss his
Yeah.
shooting. We'll miss his passing. Everything. His leadership. So yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what they're strong. The rain here also there's rain. So yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, you mentioned about Matt and he's the go-to guy in the clutch. I'm pretty sure if we search on YouTube like the clutch shots that he's converted throughout his career in the PBA, there's been a ton of that. So how do
Hmm.
you expect the team to adjust, and who do you think will be the go-to guy who could create the shots, especially in the end game wherein the defenses are tighter?
Well, we still have Jason Perkins, who I think has proven
Mhm.
himself as one of the top. I mean, I want to say top 10, top 15 players in the PBA. So we still have him. Uh,
Mhm.
I think he'll be our go-to option for sure. But I mean, the upcoming conference is going to be with an import, so I'm expecting our import, Caleb, to be the number one option as well.
Okay, okay. Is he a guy that thrives with a like having the ball? Is he a ball dominant player, or does he like you to create for him or the other guards?
Uh, well, he's only been with us for like I want to say a week, so we haven't really seen his full capabilities. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I've seen, uh he fits well within the system. He plays within the system, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, when we give him the ball, he can make shots for us. So I mean, we'll see what he looks like when it comes to game time. But during our practices, he does both. I mean, he shoots off the catch. He can create off the dribble. So we'll see.
Yeah, and with that in mind and the Phoenix Super LPG, I mean there's still a good amount of things that you guys did, even if you didn't advance far in the All Filipino Cup. So, if from your perspective as a rookie coming in and having instant impact and having the minutes to prove yourself at the professional level, what are the positive observations you could see from the team and maybe from you also individually in that All Filipino Cup? Yeah.
Some positives for the team. Well, there were a lot because well, I think it's pretty obvious that we're an undersized team. We don't have
Yeah.
someone like a June Mar Fajardo or Greg Slaughter
Yeah.
or even like a Sanggalang, those kinds
Yeah.
of bigs. So uh, I think the good thing about our team is that we always fight every game, every single possession. We'll fight to get loose balls. We'll play defense. We'll press. We're a good pressing team, and whatever we lack in talent, we'll make up for in effort and just playing hard.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a lot about pressing, and yeah, I think Coach Topex. I've watched him coach in Lyceum
Mhm.
also, and his other stints before as an assistant coach. Yeah, he loves the high intensity defensive mantra
Yep.
that he tries to impart to you guys. So, what do you
Mhm.
think is the key to that? Because in the PBA, there are some players that might not be willing to run that much or pressure that much. Like not all the teams in the PBA press,
Uh-huh.
and for sure you know that. So, how does he make you guys buy into that?
Well, I think another advantage that our team has is that we have a lot of young guys too. So,
Mm-hmm.
the youth uh, and the energy is definitely not lacking in our team. So whatever coach tells us to do, we'll run up and down and do it for him. There's like three rookies if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Aljun who's a sophomore. Then we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Larry Muyang who's also a sophomore if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we have a lot of young guys that are just willing to do whatever, willing to press. So I don't think that's a problem for us. And
Yeah.
the veterans, they're willing to press too. I mean, mo-
Mm-hmm.
uh, it'll be easy to for them to just leave it to us. But the good thing about the veterans in Phoenix is that they also do what the coach says. So it's a very nice mix of veterans and young players.
Yeah, that's what I see for sure. And I got surprised to be honest. Like I knew you were a great shooter and also Encho Serrano and he's a great slasher. But in the first game, you guys were able to play a lot. I was like, oh, because
Uh,
normally the rookies they don't get not much playing time
yeah.
instantly. And I think that game you proved that you could already play at the PBA level because of your outside shooting. So do you think that started in practice also that Coach Topex gave you the minutes instantly in that game against San Miguel?
Oh yeah, definitely. If not for the belief that Coach Topex has in me, then uh, I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to showcase what I could do because I mean, as you know, in basketball, it's all about opportunity. It's all
Mhm.
about uh, being in the right situation, right coaches, right team. So I'm very lucky that I landed in Phoenix under Coach Topex because I mean, grabe yung ano niya, yung tiwala niya sa akin. It's on a
Yeah.
different level and as a player, parang mahihiya ka if you don't repay that
Yeah.
trust, if you don't put in the work, if you don't perform for him. So definitely thankful for the trust that he's given me.
Yeah, that's really great for sure. Because if for instance you went to another team with a crowded backcourt,
Mhm.
maybe you wouldn't have an instant impact on your rookie season. And yeah, one could say that you're one of the contenders for rookie of the year. But then, yeah, we mentioned about your rookie season, and people were saying that why did you drop all the way to the second round, like, especially that you played well in the UAAP.
Mm.
So how was that feeling like for you? Were you anxious the whole draft, and how would you
Oh yeah.
describe it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the entire draft, because I mean, this is something I've been waiting for
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long, maybe my whole life. So, uh, just being there was already nerve wracking, and then I w- during the draft, I was sitting with Mamu, Gian Mamuyak,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Ildefonso, and Javi, and
Mm-hmm.
all three of those guys were picked before me. So we started out, the four of us, just enjoying, waiting for our names to be called, and then one by one, they were all called, and then I was the only one left. So that was definitely, I was super anxious at that moment, and when Phoenix called my name, I was just relieved. I just felt so much relief.
Yeah. But then playing for Phoenix and of course the PBA level, when I listen to interviews from other PBA players as well, they say it's a different game from the UAP and the PBA. So what were the major changes that you saw from your game, and did you adjust on how you play, or is it more of the similar type, especially because you only had a short period of time from the UAP when you guys played UP in the finals, and then you
Mhm.
played in the PBA right away.
Uh-huh. Uh, I think the biggest adjustment would have to be, I mean, like you said, the style of play. I think in the PBA, it's more physical. It's very more reliant on skill and IQ, in my opinion. Whereas the
Mm-hmm.
UAP is reliant on effort, uh,
Mm-hmm.
system, and of course, you still need the individual talent to win in the UAP. But I think it's more, what's the word? It's more emphasized in the PBA. Like if you have individual talent in the PBA, it's gonna get magnified. Whereas in the UAP, it's more of a system oriented kind of style. And
Mm-hmm.
regarding your question, for my personal style of play, I don't think I changed it very much. I mean, because like you said, it was like
Yeah.
UAP was, I think it ended on a Thursday. We lost the
Mhm.
UP, and then the draft was on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, or Sunday, something like that.
Sunday yata.
And then we were back to practice on Monday already. So I don't think there was enough time for me to really change my game, so to speak.
Mhm.
But I'm happy that my game translated well in the PBA for sure.
Yeah, but even then, and that was just really true because in the San Miguel game you played well. But then, how would you describe in the PBA? Because there are a lot of guards also in Phoenix that could like overtake you on the depth chart if you struggle for a series of games. How would you describe the consistency necessary in order to keep that number of minutes or that rotation spot? Because everyone in the PBA is
Mhm.
vastly talented.
Uh, it's definitely, I would say, well, honestly, I was used to the pressure of playing with talented guards at Ateneo because, I mean,
Okay.
I had Matt Nieto, SJ Belangel, Fortsky,
Yeah.
um, Joel Mendoza. All those guys are super talented, and I knew that if if I struggled, then any one of those guys could just take my job. And
Mhm.
same goes for them. They knew if they struggled, then I would be there to take their job. So it was a good training ground for me. Ateneo was definitely super vital in terms of my preparation for the PBA game.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that's great to hear. But for Phoenix and you guys didn't advance nga far, and what would you say are the points of improvement for the team that you guys have been focusing on and practice? Because yeah, you guys have the talent, and of course you guys could compete because you're all in the PBA, and even
Mhm.
if the others have like yeah June Mar as you mentioned, and you guys lack in big man depth, what other things would you do in order to enhance your performance with the upcoming conference?
Well, something that Coach Topex has emphasized during this off season is playing faster
Mm-hmm.
because wala na si Matt, so we don't have someone that we can just give the ball to and he'll make something happen off a ball screen or whatever. So we have to rely on transition points, hustle points, getting to the free throw line, stuff like that. We need those things to to win games.
Mm-hmm. How about with you mentioned playing fast and with the adjustment from Coach Tab to Coach Topex, how would you say that has been for you? Because because of Coach Tab, diba, he's more structured and you follow a system. But with Coach Topex, diba, he's more of a player's coach and he gives more leeway for the players to
Mm-hmm.
to do what they want on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely different because Coach Tab, as you mentioned, uh, he likes he likes things done his way, whereas Coach
Mm-hmm.
Topex will give you the freedom to decide for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different, and both have their advantages and disadvantages for sure.
Yeah. How about with the recently concluded finals between SMB and TNT? Were you able to tune into some games and what did you see? I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
guys were gonna play them again next conference. What's your overall assessment of it?
Uh, June Moore is unstoppable. That's my assessment. And also, I mean, the San Miguel has they're just so deep. I mean, every position, they're just their backup guys can start for any team in PBA, and you can even argue their third string guys could start for some
Yeah.
teams. So it's tough to beat a team that's that deep. And I think Talking Tex actually did a great job of
Mhm.
pushing it to the limit. Diba? Game 7
Mhm.
could have gone either way, but that fourth quarter of Talking Tex was just wala, minalas lang talaga. So, and San Miguel was hitting crazy shots. I mean, Chris Ross was hitting from 30 feet, CJ
Yeah.
Perez hitting step back three. So, it was para sa San Miguel talaga.
Yeah, para sa kanila talaga yung championship and
Mhm.
yun, parang swerte sila sa mga shots that they were making na nga because they were making that earlier in the series. But then yeah, it's really San Miguel. I don't know. They're immensely talented and Coach Leo just found a
Yep.
way to make them all work, even if people doubted them and they tried to change their roster a bit from the previous units they had.
Yeah. Actually, very impressed with Coach Leo as well because, yeah, as you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, it was a pretty much a new set for San Miguel. I mean, I think only Chris Ross, June Moore, and Lassiter were the holdovers from the Death Five. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely super impressed with Coach Leo.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on to the next portion of the interview, I usually ask my guests on about their upbringing and childhood and how they grew up and how they're succeeding now in their current career in their respective sport. So for you, I wanted to ask since I started hearing your name when when you were dominating the high school scene for Xavier. So before that, how would you say you started falling in love with basketball, or was basketball even the first sport you gravitated to, or were you doing other things when you were younger?
I actually started as a swimmer. I was taking swimming lessons with my cousin, who ended up
Mhm.
becoming a swimmer for UP, like at the collegiate level. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe if I continued those swimming lessons with her, it might have things might have turned out differently. But
yeah.
thankfully, I decided to join the basketball camp instead that summer, and I think it just went from there because uh, at home, my dad and my brother would always watch basketball games, PBA, NBA, UAAP, NTA, whatever. Was the basketball that's what's on the TV, and
Yeah.
uh, as a kid, I actually like WWE more, but
Oh,
because
okay.
they because because they always had basketball on, parang it just nawawala ako sa kanila. Like the love for the game rubbed off on
Yeah.
me, and yeah, it all started from there.
Oh, okay. So, were you in Xavier initially already because they have a great basketball program, or did you start somewhere else and did they recruit you?
Oh no. Xavier is known for not recruiting anyone. There's no athletic scholarships at Xavier, so I was homegrown. That's what we call
Mhm.
ourselves. Homegrown
Yeah,
Xavier. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's where you started, and then where would you say that you really had the potential to play collegiate and even professional? Was that like in high school already? What was the turning point for you?
Mm, I would say yeah, probably high school because grade school, like my goals were always like what I could see for myself. So in grade school, my goal was to make the high school team, and then in high school, my goal was to make the the college level. So I would say probably around second or third year high school was when I actually locked in and made college ball my goal.
Yeah, for your Xavier, since they don't join like NCAA or UAAP, what would you say are the tournaments wherein you guys like Isaac Go, Chris Chu, and these other Xavier guys? What tournaments are you able to showcase your talent for these collegiate teams or universities to scout you?
Well, back then we had Tiong
Oh, okay.
which was the league that had the most exposure for us, and that was like our UAAP. We would go
Mm-hmm.
against Chiang Kai Shek, Hope, um, those schools, those Chinese schools. But then nawala siya during my second year, if I'm not mistaken. So I only reached it until my first year of high school. And after that, I think our main leagues were MMBL,
Oh yeah.
uh, PSSBC, which was like the PCCL of
Mm-hmm.
high school. So that's where we would play against the UAP and NCAA teams of other schools.
Hmm. So what was your reaction when you were receiving calls from these collegiate schools already? Because yeah, you mentioned that you're a homegrown savior savior guy that didn't receive any recruitment in high school. So what was your reaction and how did you like decide among all the other schools that were giving you a scholarship for college?
Actually, nung high school, Ateneo and LaSalle offered a scholarship for high school,
Oh, okay.
but I decided to stay in Xavier. And then around my third year high school, Ateneo called up again and offered a chance to join them in their Las Vegas training. So that
Mm.
was sina Kiefer pa yun eh, Kiefer Vaughn, that
Oh,
batch.
okay, yeah.
And I joined them during my third year of high school. So I think that was the turning point in terms of recruitment because I saw how how much they wanted me because third year high school, then they gave me the chance to join them in Las Vegas, all expenses paid, and then I got to know all the players too. So I don't know, it felt like home because andun na rin
Yeah.
yung mga ano eh, yung mga future teammates ko like the Nieto twins, Jolo Mendoza was there also. So I think that was good recruitment by Ateneo. But yeah, during my senior year naman, that's when the other schools like LaSalle, San Beda, those schools, that's when they talked to me.
Mm, okay.
UP.
Pero I think by that time you were leaning towards Ateneo already. So it was it does it that
Actually,
way since you went to Vegas with them already or not yet?
I think subconsciously maybe, but at that time I was telling myself that I would be open to any school. So I wasn't really leaning towards Ateneo, but I think maybe the fact that I joined them already in third year was like subconsciously I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's a great way approach for them to recruit their players. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not like you're telling them stuff that they'll promise you, but then they'll bring you to Vegas and you'll get close to their teammates, your future
Yeah,
teammates. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's a great
that was
exposure
good.
for you at the high school level to be with the collegiate team already. But
Mhm.
in high school, people would say that yeah, you were a terrific scorer. So how would you describe your play style in high school, and how would you also explain like the transition of you? Because yeah, I mentioned earlier you transitioned from Coach Tab to Coach Topex, but here in high school you were like I saw like clips that you'd score like 30 plus and a lot more points. How was that adjustment for you?
Uh, yeah, I think it was a big adjustment because I was a scorer in high school, like you said. So I was in a point guard. I was playing the two and three spot in high school, and
Mm.
then when I got to Coach Tab, he convinced me that I should be a point guard at my height because it would be, I mean, 5'11", 6 feet. I'd just be like a normal two guard, but
Mhm.
if I play point, then the perfect size, right? So uh yun, he converted me to a point guard, and I think in the long run it was great for me.
Yeah. But how about, and what's your opinion on some of these players? Like for instance, sila Justin Baltazar, like diba, they used to play the big man position, but when they played with
Mm-hmm.
Coach Tab, they were converted to a wing. But then there are others that don't thrive. Like there was a time Kobe Paras, I think he was playing in a position like I think the four where he's not comfortable because he wants to
Mm-hmm.
play from like a two or a three. So what's your
Mm-hmm.
opinion or your sentiments on that and the evolution of basketball wherein people, because before like people just play like kung maliit ka point guard ka, kung matangkad ka
Yeah.
center, but then now it's not necessarily like that. So what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Uh well, I think it depends on the play style of certain players, because I mean, I don't think it's a secret that some players do better when they're in a more free flowing system,
Yeah.
and other players are system players, so they do better when there's a structured offensive system where they know where they'll get their shots, they know what to do. But then other players, they're better at creating shots for themselves and for others out of
Mm-hmm.
scratch. So it just depends on their playing style. And with regards to the positionless basketball, I think it's a great thing because it just goes to show that everyone's getting more skilled, whether they're big men or guards. Uh, it's just they're getting more skilled. That they're getting better at different things. Like guards, you see guards posting up, and then you
Mm-hmm.
see big men bringing the ball up the floor, crossing people over, shooting threes. So I think it's good for the game too, and it makes everything. It makes people harder to defend, and it makes it easier to play with players who are skilled also.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. And yeah, positionless basketball, so like the trajectory and how basketball is gonna
Yep.
be played for the next several years to come. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you mentioned about being a scorer, and I asked like some of the shooters that I had in the podcast, like Von Pesumal and Larry Foncher, on what
Mm-hmm.
their thoughts are on why you think like shooters are at a premium in this day and age. Like for instance, even guys like Joe Harris or Duncan Robinson, like they struggled last year, but the teams pay them a lot of money. So siguro para nasa team na nila, pero people are saying if you make a list of the overpaid players, there are a lot of shooters there. Like even Bertans from, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's still in the Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like those
Yeah.
people. Even yeah, like those guys. Why would you say those franchises, even here locally, put a premium on shooting?
uh, that's a good question. I think because you can't have too many shooters on a team. Like, there's just no way you can have too many shooters. If all five are knockdown 3-point shooters, then that just makes things easier, because just having one guy that's a knockdown 3-point shooter, he takes up so much of the defense's attention, and that makes
Mm-hmm.
it easier for the rest of the guys to just play. And I don't know, I think shooting is it's an art. Like, everyone
Mm-hmm.
everyone can shoot, but not many players can, like, shoot at a very high level. That's why there's a
Yeah.
premium. That's why there's a
Mm-hmm.
premium to those guys that are, like, specialist shooters. Like, they
Mm-hmm.
can really shoot. You know what I mean? Like, high
Mm-hmm.
percentage, high volume. They can shoot off the catch. They can shoot off screens, off ball screens, spin downs, off the
Yeah.
ball screen. So I think it's a it's a very, I don't know what the word is. It's like it's overrated and underrated at the same time. Like, uh, I don't know how to describe it, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, like everyone can kind of shoot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, though, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone can kind of shoot, but those players that are, like, really elite at shooting, then they just make the game easier for everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's why when I was younger nga, yung mga shooters, yun yung mga favorite ko kagad. Like, sinong
Mm-hmm.
top 3-point shooters. Like, I didn't understand the game to a deeper level yet when I was younger. So,
Sarap
sinong
pasahan, eh, diba?
shooter.
Just
Yeah,
give it
that's
to the
why,
shooter.
especially in 2K, remember, like if they're a
Mm-hmm.
shooter, just pass it. They
Yep.
can make it. That's what I do when I was younger. But then there are also shooters that aren't as versatile. Like now there are in this generation, but I'm pretty sure you know names in the basketball scene who just shoot, but then it's kind of tough for them to stay on the floor. Like yeah, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
Bertans, as I mentioned, Coach Jason Kidd can't put him in for too much because he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a liability on defense,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
if he plays the five, he can't guard like the interior or something like
Yeah.
that. It's just an example. So for you as a shooter scorer in high school, how does your like yeah Coach Tab or other people like encourage you or give you the chance to like evolve in your game as you became a better like a playmaker, even a defender in college?
Uh, well, yeah, like you said, sometimes it's hard for shooters to see the floor if they don't play good defense. So I knew that I had to improve my
Mhm.
defense, and yeah, I pretty much just took it as a challenge, a personal challenge that I had to improve defensively. So I think that's where the strength and conditioning comes into making yourself as quick as possible. Whether
Mhm.
it's just a difference of split seconds, it could make a big difference in getting a stop or not. So I think just putting in the work in the weight room, uh, being in the best shape possible, I think that all contributes. And yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned about strength and conditioning, and I see your like posts on IG, like you with Sila Anton Assis, so like you guys do now other stuff outside of the your individual like shooting or like your team practices. Like you have a strength and conditioning program. I think Aitona, like I think I see the
Oh yeah.
posts that you guys share. So what's your opinion on that? Because I'm pretty sure you know that in previous generations of basketball, like people I don't know, but then I feel people don't do too much stuff outside of the regular practice or the games.
Mm.
Like they don't have mga strength and conditioning. Like now lang yan nagkaroon ng availability siguro here in the Philippines. So what's your opinion on that and how will it help in honing the performance of the players in every sport?
Well, I wouldn't know about the past generations, but it's a
Mm.
great thing for this current generation because uh, it's super important. Strength and conditioning is like maybe half of the game. So I would say the extra work that you put in after practice is very important because it gives you that edge over everyone else who's doing the same stuff at practice. So I mean that's how I look at it. If I just do the same stuff as everyone in practice, then I'm just getting better at the same rate as everyone else. And I don't know, I feel like I need that edge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because especially in the pro level, everyone's talented, as I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So yeah, you need to find somewhere there to get an edge, an advantage over
Yeah.
them.
Shout
But
out
yeah,
to Migs Aitona,
yeah, yeah.
my
I see
guy.
your posts. I see the stories you guys share when you
Mhm.
go there. So yeah, it's great also that he posted on social media. People are gonna discover what he does.
Yep.
But yeah, moving on to Ateneo, and there, I know there were like questions on you suiting up for season 79. So what was the story behind that, and why you weren't able to play for Ateneo in that season, even if you're already studying in the school?
I think it was I don't know, just citizenship issues. I just needed to get a Philippine passport, and thankfully we were able to do that. So yeah, it's all
Oh,
good now.
okay. Oh, okay. Was that also a concern now? Because for Gilas, like, don't you need to be like you need to get your passport before you turn 16?
Yeah, I don't think I can play for Gilas because I got mine at like 18.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's why. Because me,
Yeah.
personally, I was like they invited all the Ateneo guys. I wanted you there, especially you need shooting in the international competition. That's
Nah,
why
I don't
and
think
because
I'm
especially.
allowed. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
But I
maybe
don't know. I feel like did they change the rules because guys like
Chris.
Newsom and
Yeah,
yeah, they're allowed to play. So I don't know. But from what I
yeah.
know, before I wasn't allowed.
Okay, okay. Maybe they're not as strict now because
Maybe,
even
maybe.
Jamie Malonzo got and they
Oh yeah,
just played
yeah.
in LaSalle for like a season. So
Hmm.
maybe they can get you because I saw also and I know you're I don't know if you're part of Shoot First the Facebook group, they were asking like, "Oh, why didn't Tyler Teo? Why can't he be in the pool so that we have a shooter?" Because in FIBA, right, we lack
Uh-huh.
the shooting in those competitions, and they just crowd the paint. Like, if it's Philippines, I mean, this iteration,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
maybe,
mean,
hopefully, in the future.
I'll I'll try to join the Shoot First community on Facebook. I didn't see that, but thank you to the guy that posted that. I'm
Yeah, I
flattered.
think it was you and Aaron Black. I think I saw it.
Mm,
They were just asking for the thoughts of the people in the
mm.
community. So yeah. But then, since you weren't able to play in season 79, was that tough for you mentally, or were you able to accept it and, still hone your skills individually in the team B? And then, yeah, it helped you for sure in the following seasons for Ateneo.
Uh, I think a little bit of both. It was tough. It was tough because I trained with the team for like the entire summer, and I went through all the pain and the hard practices, the boot camps,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 weeks before, that's when I found out that they couldn't get it done on time. So yeah, that was painful, but I was able to use the time to adjust to the college academics. Sorry, and to I was able to improve also under Coach Yuri in Team B. I was able to see what the college game was like. That I mean, not at the same level as UAP, of course, but still
Mm.
playing against college players that would eventually make it to the UAP and NCAA.
Yeah, but and you mentioned also learning from your teammates and coaches, and
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned earlier also that you were teammates now with great guards like what do you call this Matt Nieto, SJ Belangel, Jolo Mendoza, and BJ Andrade, and all these guys. So, what would you say that something that you learned from your veterans or these players that helped you, find your groove and earn those minutes in the UAP level? Because yeah, of course, they're talented as well in the high school. So, how would you say that changed also with your development in college? Because yeah, when it was season 84, which is your final season, you were getting minutes already every game, and you were making an impact.
Uh, I mean, just those everyday battles at those everyday practices that I had against them definitely made me better. And uh, I think also just learning from them as well. Not only on the court, but off the court also. I got to see how they handled themselves and how they devoted their extra time to basketball too. So that helped me a lot. And I mean, those are great players. The players that you mentioned, I think they all made it to the next level. I mean, except BJ, who's still playing uh his last season, but he should have been with us though at the
Yeah.
draft. But he decided to stay, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Hmm. But moving on to that season, the two seasons, season 80 and season 81, I mean, Ateneo was a team, like the team that no one could beat. They were unbeatable in season 80, 80, 81 and 82 pala. You guys won three straight championships. So how would you say, I think I asked like the other Ateneo players, these two, like how do you guys have that motivation to continue winning? I mean, it's tough. I mean, sometimes it's tough for like, oh, kayang-kaya na namin yan. Oh, sino next game? And then like, oh, we could beat that na kasi we're talented and we're a
Mhm.
well-oiled machine. We have great chemistry. So what's that hunger within you, like internally, like what keeps you motivated in those whole seasons that you guys were even season 84? I mean that until that road block and like the last
Mhm.
part of the second round, you guys were still dominant.
Uh, I think a big part has to do with the coaching staff. Obviously, it starts with
Mm-hmm.
Coach Tab. He always preaches to us to just stay humble and to take it one game at a time, one practice at a time. And I guess it kind of rubbed off on all of us because all the coaches were preaching that as well, and they did a great job of keeping our feet on the ground whenever we got too high or stuff like that. And I think I think it was just our practices were so detail oriented and so intense that when it came to game time, we were so well prepared. And I think that's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. How about with the? I forgot to ask a while ago in season 80, I think, or yeah, tama, right? Season 80, when your debut game against UP, you already made an instant impact as a rookie.
Mm.
So how was your mindset in that day? Like, would you say na swerte ka rin? Would you say na, that you had a great superstition or something, and why
Mm.
rookie pa lang? Parang, were you best player? I think you were one of the best
Yeah,
players at
yeah.
least. Okay.
Yeah, I was player of the game. I remember that.
Oh.
I think it was just so much excitement because I waited. I mean, I sat out 1 year, and then I was injured during the off season. I was out for the first game, and then finally I was cleared to play. So the excitement was just overflowing, and I just wanted to play, man. I just wanted to show what I could do. So I mean, thankfully my shots went in, and yeah, I think it was just yung excitement yung nagdala sa akin that day.
Yeah.
There
There
were
was
no like
season.
superstitions or anything.
Okay, okay. How about with season 80? That was when you guys beat LaSalle, right? When in the finals. Was that the
Yeah,
ISAP goal shot?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yep,
Yeah. Why would you say that you guys were able to beat LaSalle? I mean, like me personally, syempre biased sa LaSalle. Pero I mean, LaSalle was the favorites in that finals,
hmm
but then you guys were able to beat them even if they had Ben and Bala at that time, and you guys still did have Ange. So
yeah.
what do you think was the turning point of that series wherein you guys knew that it was yours?
Uh, I don't think we ever really knew that it was ours. We had to earn it up until the end, and
Mhm.
yeah, like we said, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. I think because LaSalle beat our asses the year before.
Yeah.
Uh, my first game was against LaSalle in the off season, and they beat us by 40.
Oh,
And
the field oil.
I think it was got skills, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, we lost by 40. That was my first ever college game,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember after that game, uh, our training was just completely different. Like we went twice a day. We got in the weight room. So basically, a lot of our motivation and our success we can attribute to that LaSalle team because of how hard they beat us. Uh, so yeah, I think everything changed after they showed us the blueprint of what a championship team should look like. And then when we finally met them again the next year, I think we were just there was so much preparation that went into it from the years past, and I mean from the previous year, sorry. And
Mm.
I don't know, we really wanted to get them, and everyone was locked in to the scouting report. We knew what we were willing to give up, what we were going to take away, and thankfully, I mean, it just worked out. I mean, we hit some crazy shots too, which I think is needed for every championship run.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned a while ago that it was the coaching staff also was the main reason and why you guys remain locked in for that season 80 run that started it, and then you sustained it until season 82. But then, would you say also that Coach Tab and the coaching staff and the winning environment that they preach, do you think that helps the Ateneo players find a role instantly in the pros? Because in the pros, you can't all be the superstars. I mean, like in La Salle and Ateneo, they have a winning culture, and they came from a great environment, and they know how to accept these roles in the PBA level.
Mhm.
Not everyone has that. So would you say that helped you a lot in your future endeavors?
Yeah, for sure. Because yeah, Coach Tab has a really structured system. So I learned how to play my role. I learned how to do my job. So if everyone knows their job and they do their job, then that just that makes a winning team. So uh, I mean, obviously back in high school I was a scorer, and then in college we had guys like 30, uh, obviously Ange, and then eventually Sina Dave. SJ. Those guys are all scorers too. So I knew that I had to feed them more, and I had to take a step back.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Because I could see now, like sila Gian now, he's playing well also for Rain or Shine, and
Mm-hmm.
even Mike's playing well for Rain or Shine. And I mean, they've been exceeding expectations because then
Uh-huh.
Ateneo people think you guys would just score single digits and you're
Mm-hmm.
happy with it because you'd win. But people don't know you could score 20 in the professional level if given the chance and the opportunity. But then
Mm-hmm.
since season 84 was the most recent one, I'd want to talk more about that. And for season 84, how different was it for you guys? Because there were no preseason tournaments compared to the other 3 seasons that you guys played. And there were what, 3 games in a week. So how different was the preparation for you guys, and what were your opinions on it?
That was huge. I think that was one thing that was super different because Coach Tab likes to prepare us through different stages. So the early off season, we focus on weightlifting and skills development for like
Mhm.
I want to say 2-3 months, and uh, then after that we focus on team stuff. So it's stages of development, but we didn't have that. And to top it off, we were lying down for 2 years, about 2 years. So it was definitely challenging because uh the year that we needed the most preparation was the year that we had the least preparation, and we also had new faces coming in. We had guys that left during the pandemic, so I think that was something that definitely challenged us.
Yeah, and even if you would say that you guys had a difficult time and yeah, there were new faces, that's what I also like was waiting for you guys. You guys were dominating the elimination round. Like, di ba yung mga joke nga pag Ateneo, like, check mo na yan, like, next game na, and then let's just watch
Mm.
the 3 other games because, di ba, Ateneo is just gonna win. I mean, di ba, like, people would say, like, you even beat UST by, I don't know how much, how many points that was, but you guys were beating everyone in the UAP. So why would you say that was still the case, even if you were mentioning that you had less preparation than Coach Tab would have wanted?
uh we had we still prepared well. I mean, don't get me wrong. So I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
also helped us out. We only had about, I want to say, 2 months or 2.5 months to prepare. But during those 2.5 months, everyone was locked in, and Coach Stab and the coaching staff did a great job of, compressing the preparation. So we were still very prepared, just not as much as previous years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How about the winning streak? Like, people would, there's even a Twitter account like, did Ateneo lose today? No, I'm
Mm.
not sure if you know that. There's like a Twitter account that
Yeah, I've
just
seen that. I've seen that.
yeah, that just tweets that. So did that creep into you guys, the pressure, or pinapabayaan nyo lang yung media na gumawa sila ng sarili nilang storylines about your winning streaks when it kept increasing?
uh, I don't think the pressure got to us, but we were aware. It's not like we don't have social
Mm.
media, so we we were aware of the winning streak that everyone was talking about, and I mean, we knew it would be nice to keep it going, but at the same time, our goal was just to win the championship for that year, not to
Mm-hmm.
maintain the winning streak.
Mm-hmm. So how about that second round tussle that you guys had with UP? I mean, in the first round matchup, that was still the first game. I mean, Carl and Zave. Zave had 0 points. I remember
Mm-hmm.
Malik. They were all adjusting with the UP team because I think this was only a few guys like sila Spencer lang, sila Noah Webb lang mga holdovers. So
Mm-hmm.
halatang you guys had the edge that time. But in the second round, it was a great game. It was, I don't know kung 1 point lang yata yung panalo nila. So why do you think UP had that edge in that game, and did that switch the mindset for you guys? I mean, you guys beat FU also by a ton of points, and in the finals, I mean, even if you guys lost, you guys were still competitive.
Uh, I think you just gotta tip your hat off to UP also because they were a great team too. They're very talented, super
Mm-hmm.
well coached, also hard nosed team. So we definitely didn't take them for we didn't take them lightly because we knew how talented they were. We knew how strong they were, and coming into that game, we wanted to win, but it's just that UP's good too. So that's
Yeah.
basketball, and you just gotta tip your hat off to your opponent sometimes.
Yeah. But then with UP, and then you advanced with them to the finals. And honestly, like, di ba, wala ng Lasal, so I wasn't really like for any school. And then
Mm,
objectively speaking, I'd tell my friends na Ateneo or UP, I'd say Ateneo's gonna win. Like kahit nanalo yan game one, I mean, they're more
mm,
experienced. Mga rookies lang tong UP. I mean, I take
mm,
up, I don't know, for me, that's a premium na veterans na kayo, you guys experience. And sila Carl, di ba? Like, they were
mm,
champions in NU, and I thought na may edge kayo. And yeah, breaks of the game nga lang yun. You guys were still, still had the chance to
mm.
win game one and game three. So why would you say that UP won it? Like, was it really the breaks of the game, or would you say there were a few things that you guys could have done that would have tilted the whole series?
Uh, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. We didn't play as well as we wanted to. UP played great. Uh, Obviously breaks of the game too. They hit uh they hit some crazy shots too to put us away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Guys stepped up for them. I mean CJ Cancino, who was I think he tore his
Patella.
some yeah he tore something and he still played
Yeah.
and scored like 15 points or something in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, man. I mean that's what championship stories are made of, and uh yeah, you just gotta tip your hat off. I think they played better than us. Um, they hit crazy shots, so
Mm-hmm.
that's, that's the ball game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's an exciting series, one of the most exciting ones for me as a fan of the UAP, and like since I started watching the league. But then one question I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if I got to ask like sila Rafi Verano, since they were the recent ones that I interviewed that were part of that team, because you
Hmm.
guys were winning out by a lot of winning by a huge margin in the elimination round, and these three UP games were all close. And would you say that was also different for you guys, since yung nga tambak lahat and then dito close game, and biglang iba na, like you need to have a go-to guy like what you mentioned, like you had Matthew Wright for Phoenix. Do you think that also contributed on you guys having the end game execution for the finals?
Yeah, I think it might have been a factor because uh, we weren't really used to those close games. Even if I mean that team mismo, we weren't used to those types of games because
Mm-mm.
like I mentioned earlier, we didn't have much time to prepare during the off season. We didn't have those tune-up games. We didn't have. I mean, you see them now. They're in Japan playing against other schools, and then
Mm.
they're in Israel playing against pro teams. So we didn't have that preparation. We had that during those 3 years that we won. I mean, we went to Greece. We played against pro teams
Yeah,
in Greece. We
I
played
remember.
against the Greek national team that
Mm.
killed us by 50 points. Uh, and then, so yeah, I think uh, while we had experience individually as players, I don't think we had enough experience as a team.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment that you shared. But how about with UP? Like they have a very lengthy front court with Zave, Carl, and Malik, and they even have Galinato coming in and a few other guys that I'm not familiar with, and they're a pretty tall team even without Richie and CJ for this upcoming season. So what do you think that UP's length contributed to their advantage as well in that series, and also yeah for the following season, since they're all gonna still most of them are still back for season 85 and
Mhm.
86.
For sure, for sure. I mean, uh, even if basketball is going towards the positionless route, it's still
Mm-hmm.
vital to have those trees that just get rebounds, block shots, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, play defense, getting the passing lanes. That's still huge, and uh, definitely gave us a hard time, man. Those UP bigs are tough. Diouf super long, super active. Um, and then you got, like you mentioned, Zave, and then Tamayo, who's super talented. Uh, so yeah, it was tough. UP is tough, and they're gonna be tough for the next few years as long as those guys are still there.
Yeah, there. I think Zabe's leaving after this year because he only had two playing years, but they're still gonna have the nucleus of the team. But then for
Mhm.
you, since did you have one more playing year? If I
Yeah.
counted correctly, you still had one playing year if you wanted to, right? So were you already sure of applying for the draft even before the season wrapped up? Because the draft was like in a few days, so you needed to submit your application before the finals wrapped up, right? So even if you guys won, you
Yep.
wouldn't have came back anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked to the coaching staff. We talked to Coach Tab, the management, uh, during the season, and each of us had our own decisions individually, and we also talked together. So yeah, me and Mamu ended up applying for the draft, and then BJ decided to stay, and I think Rafi was entertaining some offers overseas, but
Yeah, he said.
I'm not sure if that came to fruition. And
Mm.
yeah, we talked to Coach Tab, and he was super supportive about it, and he said whatever we want to do, he supports us, and he understands because there was a 2 year pandemic that just messed everything up for everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's how it went
Mhm.
pretty much.
Yeah. You mentioned about Ateneo like playing in games in Japan and Israel now compared to season 84 where there was zero
Mm-hmm.
of that. So I'm not sure if you've seen some of the games of Ateneo or you've met some of the new guys because honestly I'm just trying to learn how they play now when I watched them because I'm not familiar with some of the
Mm-hmm.
names that I see in the lineup. So what are your thoughts or what's your prediction on how Ateneo is going to be playing for season 85 since again it's as you mentioned season 84 was a brand new team here it's
Mm-hmm.
another brand new team
Yeah.
like even SJ decided to take his talents to Korea
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other changes.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll still be competitive because they still have Coach Tab, they still have Ange, they still have Dave. So I think they'll be fine. And uh, I can't really put a pin to the prediction, but I think they'll still be competitive. For sure,
Hmm.
Final Four. I'm
Yeah,
confident to say for sure Final Four, but and
yeah.
hopefully they can still get the chip.
Yeah, for me, I think they're also gonna make it to the final four. But I wanted to ask you on one with the collegiate scene now, even if you're not there anymore. I think Naveen Ganglani tweeted that every league, iba-iba yung champion. Like UP nag-champion sa UAP and then LaSalle
Mm-hmm.
nag-champion sa PBA D-League, NU, Phil Oil, etc. And Ateneo in Japan. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
Japan league that they joined. So how would you say is the parity now with all these schools and how excited are you for UAP season 85 opening in a month?
I'm excited. Finally have the chance to watch UAP again, just as a fan and not, scouting my opponents. So I'm excited, and uh, there's a lot of great teams out there. I mean, you mentioned those four schools, but there's still Adamson. Did you mention FEU? So
No,
I'm
I
excited to
didn't.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, FEU still has LJ Gonzalez, so I'm excited because these are guys that I played against, and I'm excited for the new guys as well. I mean,
Mm-hmm. How about with the what do you call this, the UAAP? Like what makes it more exciting at the collegiate level? I mean, you've experienced now sorry, the professional level. You experience now the PBA for a conference and
mhm.
you playing in Ateneo. Like, I don't know, for me, mas passionate or mas intense dun yung mga tao pag
Uh-huh.
UAP, NCA compared to the PB.
Yeah, I think yeah, iba pa rin yung passion ng mga fans when it comes to their school. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something I miss for sure. The drums also, there's no drums in the PBA, but I think there's some pros and cons to that because
Yeah.
on one hand it gives the crowd energy, uh, makes the game exciting for the fans, but at the same time it's like it's hard for the players to talk to communicate with each other, to talk to their coaches. So I don't know. There's like pros and cons to that.
Yeah, for sure. But then moving on to your other ventures that you've tried, like I know that you still play basketball, but then I watched kasi the game, and I know that you've been like, were you like ever a host yata there, or you like guested a lot and you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like
a few
other
times.
like, yeah, you had like media stuff
Mm.
that you've tried also on the side. So did you also have that love for like storytelling or being in front of
Mhm.
the camera and sharing your thoughts on basketball, since yeah, basketball was your love
Mhm.
since you joined that camp when you were a kid? So why would you say you when how did you say that started, and will you continue it even if you're still playing?
Uh, I think it started out from I know from Smart Swak. I think Smart uh put together a team of radio DJs and included me in it. So we had our own podcast where we would just talk about NBA stuff. That was like once a week. So I think from there, dun napunta ako sa NBA hype with yun, sina
Oh
Charles Lee,
yeah,
Bea Escudero,
yeah.
Isaac. And then from there, napunta ako sa the game. So yun, parang it just kept branching out, and it was a lot of fun, man. I met a lot of people who were just veterans, so to speak, at their craft. People
Mm-hmm.
like Boom Gonzalez, um, Paulo Del Rosario. So I learned a lot from those guys, and I super enjoyed working with them and just talking about basketball. I mean, something it's like this. We're just talking about basketball in front of the
Mm-hmm.
camera, and it's fun. It's like just talking to your friends about basketball, but there's a camera.
Yeah. Do you plan to continue it? Like, Draymond Green, he has this thing called like it's the new
His
media,
own
it's the
podcast, right?
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, the players like saying it like with JJ
Hmm.
Redick, him, CJ McCollum, Richard Jefferson. I mean, do you plan to do it even while you're playing, or pag retired ka na tsaka mo natutuloy yun?
If the opportunity presents itself, I'm definitely willing to try it again. And the only problem is, yung NBA hype is the same time as our practices. Their taping is the same time as our morning practices, so I can't. Obviously, I'm
No.
prioritizing basketball, right?
Yeah.
So, but if the opportunity presents itself and our schedules align, then why not, right?
Mm-hmm. How about with that new media thing? Are you in favor of what Draymond said? I mean, I asked like sila Miko Halili, I guested them,
Mhm.
sila Seb Sarmento, like they have their own opinion on being a new media, old media thing, or do you think he's just saying those stuff, but wala, there's still just one media who covers sports? What's your opinion on Draymond Green and his thoughts on that?
Sorry, what did you say again about the new media?
That the new media runs like the media, like the old media, wala na yan, yung traditional media. But
Uh,
then the new media, like him and the players, they're the ones you should listen to. They're because yeah, they
get.
played the game and they can understand
Mhm.
the concepts more and the techniques of playing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think those two can coexist. I think it's good that we have both. We
Mhm.
have people. Obviously, it's good to hear from the players themselves because, like you said, they experienced it firsthand. But at the same
Mhm.
time, uh, you know, just because you're not a player doesn't mean you can't talk about basketball, or it doesn't mean that you don't know anything about basketball. It's just that you come from a different perspective, and maybe there's something different but also good that you can bring to the game, right?
Yeah, I agree with that because there are people like I don't know, like like sila Andy Howe, Kinito Henson, people would or
Mm.
sila Sev or what, like I don't know, more of the analysts pala. So yeah, Kinito and Andy Howe, and even abroad like sila Skip, diba? Sila Stephen A.
Hmm.
They weren't like
Yeah.
players talaga at a high level. So people sometimes criticize them too much. I mean, they say the right things naman most of the time. Nagkamali lang ng konti. Like
Mm.
kinriticize mo or binash mo na sobra on social
Uh,
media. I mean, I don't know. It's part of it, I guess. But at least siguro sila hindi naman nila pinapansin. So why
I
would
think
we?
it's
Yeah.
I understand where Draymond's coming from because guys like since Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
Stephen A. I mean, sometimes they say stuff just
Clout.
to yeah, for clout,
Yeah.
diba? Because that's their
Yeah.
job, right? They need the
Mm.
viewers, they need people to tune into them.
Mm.
So it's good for them if they have haters, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it works in their favor. So sometimes maybe what Draymond is saying is that it's not as credible anymore because you don't know if that's their actual opinion or if they're just sticking to their narrative. Like
Mm-hmm.
with Skip Bayless and LeBron James, it seems like
Oh,
whatever LeBron
yeah,
does,
yeah.
Skip's gonna find a way
Twisted.
to to twist it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. How about with the coaching? Like I saw on your IG story, like maybe a week ago. Like, are you a coach
Ah,
now in Xavier, or is that a trial
that's
thing?
that's just our alumni league. So I was just coaching
Oh,
my
okay.
batchmates. So it's not an actual coaching job, but I had a lot of fun and I saw what it was like to manage rotations during the game. Timeouts. It's actually it's challenging. It's challenging, but it's fun.
For those leagues, you're not allowed to play, right? Because you're in the PBA, or you just decided not
Yeah,
to.
I don't think we're allowed to play.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. So
yeah,
then
that's
you're
why I'm
coaching.
coaching. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, before we wrap up, I just want to ask a few questions that I ask all the guests that come on the DVD show. So one
Mhm.
is, you know, in the NBA, since you're a huge fan, that players are very vocal when it comes to social and political issues, and that
Mhm.
changed a lot in the bubble when it was the George Floyd incident, Breonna Taylor, and the elections approaching. So they were more vocal and having a stand or an opinion. And here in the Philippines, diba, alam mo naman yung
Mhm.
mga Filipinos were more laid back in terms of those things. But then in the pandemic and here in 2022 when there were elections,
Mhm.
people were more vocal on their stance or opinion on social and political issues. So for you as an
Mhm.
athlete and as a sports personality, what's your opinion on athletes speaking up and amplifying their voice on these social and political issues? Because you know there are some that say na shut up and dribble ka na lang dyan, or some other things. May comment palagi, or there could be
Mhm.
endorsements that would affect because you support this candidate or you say this on your social media. Ganun. So what's your thoughts?
Mhm. Uh, I think it's good for the athletes to use their platform to speak out on what they actually believe in. So I don't believe in the shut up and dribble. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a time for that. I mean, obviously, if you're not well educated in what you're talking about, then don't say anything because that'll just
Yeah.
make you look not credible. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if it's something that you're passionate about and you think it's the right thing, then I think it's good for the athletes to use their platform because a lot of people listen and see the athletes. I mean, on social media, so it's good for definitely good for the athletes to use it for some good and whatever they believe in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, the players in the UAAP also, they were doing it because pa-approach na yung
Mhm.
elections ng time na yun. They were doing their
Mhm.
own thing. I mean, I don't think anyone was telling anyone to do this or that, but that's just yeah. Also,
Mhm.
it's your
Yeah.
volunteering to do it on your own since you guys,
Yep.
nga,
Yep.
everyone was watching the UAAP that time. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's great. But then for the next question, I'm not sure, maybe you know it from All the Smoke. If you had the dinner to, if
Oh
you have the
yeah.
opportunity to invite people in a dinner, dead or alive, who would you
Mhm.
invite?
Whew, that's tough. Um, Gotta go with my favorite player of all time, Dwayne Wade. Gotta be
Oh,
there.
okay.
Does it have to be all, all basketball players?
No, it could be anyone random talaga. Kahit hindi ko kilala.
Okay, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. I think it's gonna be all basketball players. Kobe,
Yeah.
MJ, and hmm, that fifth one's tough. I don't know. Maybe Jesus. Is that allowed?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for the final question, it's also from All the Smoke. And yeah, but they asked their
Mhm,
guests in the end, like, since me naman, I invite my people through, my guests through social media lang. And yeah, like how I invite you guys or through email. So who would
mhm.
you suggest that I could invite here on the podcast that would have a great story to tell, and or someone na mapagkwentuhan lang about current sporting events that are happening now in the local or international scene?
Uh, what about SJ?
Yeah,
or
I've
yeah,
had him.
SJ
I
more?
had him and
Oh,
Dave
you've had
on
him.
back to
Okay.
back episodes before. Yeah.
Sino pa ba? Gian Mamuya.
Yeah, I've had him too.
Oh, so I don't know who else. uh, I don't know who else is there. Ange, have you had
Any?
Ange?
Nah, not yet. Not yet.
Yun, Ange.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I haven't had him from the Ateneo core. Maybe in the three-peat, I haven't had Ange, William, who else? Matt Nieto. I haven't
Mm,
had him. DJ, but then the others I've had like Mike, Dwight. Even Dwight pala he didn't play. Oh yeah, 30. I haven't had 30 yet pala. Pero yeah,
mm,
Dwight,
okay.
Gian, SJ, you, Rafi. Yeah, I've had the Ateneo guys already. Even the
Mm,
older batches like Von and Wami and those Justin Chua, yeah, those guys. So yeah, I've had a lot
mm,
of Ateneo guys. So yeah, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining me here on
no
the
problem.
podcast. I enjoyed the
Thank you.
conversation. And do you have any final
Thank you.
message before you go?
Now I just want to say thank you to you and more power to your show. I'll try to tune in when I can. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. You could check the old episodes. I mean, I had a lot of great guests before. So yeah, if you're interested, you could check those out. But before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, I'll take it from here. One, two, three. Okay, thank you so much,
Okay.
Tyler, again
Thank
for
you, thank
joining me
you.
on the
All right.
podcast. And yeah,
See
stay
you,
safe.
man. Take care.